Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka... And we are back with another Twitter thread. Today we are talking about cards that you know are not good and you play anyway. Yes, metas come and metas go, but sometimes you have such an intimate relationship with the card that you just can't help sleeving it up every time you see it. Wait, there's gotta be a better way to say that. Today I want to know what cards, despite the fact that they're less playable than usual, you just can't cut, and I'm going to begin with an easy one for me. Despite the fact that I consider myself competitive at this game, I just can't help playing all the singleton one-ofs. They limited these cards. They want us to play one copy. That's how good they are. Well, it turns out actually that maybe you shouldn't be playing Teekboo Di-Fi in every single deck. Prospy's the most frustrating because I think there's still an argument you should be playing this card. Like an argument from good players. Anyway, let's see what you all have come up with. Speaking of limited cards, I splashed this card in almost all my decks. It's so goated. Is it so? I feel like maybe it isn't so goated. The thing about Monster Reborn is it could have come to 3 a long time ago, but it doesn't for iconic reasons. So instead they put it to 1, and then you think to yourself, I mean, I could jam the sword in there. I know so many people with this mentality. I know battle traps are usually useless and it's a brick multiple times, but it's also non-targeting, non-destruction removal. It's won me multiple games because no one expects it. Never stop running one of these always. If you are going to play one obviously bad card, you could do worse than Storming Mirror Force for sure. I would say once a fiscal quarter, I play against someone either on Master Duel or at locals and I'm like, all right, lethal, I'll just attack, and they go, deck, boom, and I think to myself, what? It very rarely even wins them the game. Like any competent deck these days, you can just build the board again in main phase 2, but I'm sure it feels so good to be behind that shit. All it takes is one time, dog. All it takes is one time. When my opponent has skill drain on the field while I play Makonko, it's gotten to the point where I need this in every single deck. It's like all you have to do is get got by Labyrinth or a dumb shit Floodgate deck once, and then you're like, I am not leaving home without this. It can be in the main, it can be in the side, you gotta be playing it somewhere. Zealantis summoning and effect are way too fun and interesting for me to want to cut it, even if it does nothing like 99% of games. Playing Snake Eye for multiple months puts you in the bell curve meme, right? So like, here you've got, I have to play Zealantis, I don't know how to do removal in my deck. Here you've got, actually, having a powerful extra deck full of a bunch of different options means you don't actually need Zealantis to clean up board states. And the over here is, I need Zealantis to clean up board states. Like, every, 40th game, I just play against some asshole on some build-a-board strategy that's like, my monsters all have powerful effects. And I go, I'm sorry, I need to set your Blingus Blungus, the magical fungus. An Elexordio classic. You know the deck is flopping, but you don't care, and you want to see its full potential. I love week 1 YouTube builds of decks where people are like, so the whole deck revolves around this central playmaker, which is why we're playing 3 copies of Small World. And I'm like, oh, this is unserious. That said, I have sleeved up so many copies of Small World. Yeah, this is a great one. He's like the 8th extra deck card for Fiendsmith builds, but I never build Fiendsmith decks without him. His extra normal summon means that Lacrima and Lurie can be better normal summons than most normal summons. Absolutely correct. Duke of Demise is really funny because a significant amount of the decks that play him are like, yeah, I mean, this card is nuts in a scenario where I want to make sequence instead of going for Caesar, and I don't have the materials for Desiree, and of course there are some combo decks that center around this guy, but it's more funny that it's like an aerial eater for a situation where your opponent has unicorned away the aerial eater in your extra. He's such a cool card though. He is such a cool fucking card. Scarlon and I were separated at birth, at which point she was whisked off to the hell that is The Triple Tactics talent limit legitimately broke something in my brain because I can never look at it anymore without thinking, fuck, this is the best card in the game while building any TCG deck list. It's in all my decks. Tactics is like, fine, this format. And I'm like, ooh, do I really need 3 Izuna in Vanquish Soul Canine? I mean, Holly Sue doesn't take a card out of my opponent's hand, does it? Trevor Allen with the rare good blue check take. Yep, this is a perfect example. She goes in every deck. I don't care if my deck doesn't spam bodies for extra deck plays. I don't care if she barely comes up. I am not losing to Raid Raptor or Pearly because I can't out a Dingus. So these days we have better outs for towers than we did in the past, but for years after this card was released, I threw her in an extra deck at the expense of better cards that had to be in the extra deck because I was like, if I go to locals and I see a Crooked Cook player, I will be so mad. This is actually responsible for my undefeated streak at the first remote YCS during day 1. One of my rounds was against Crooked Cook. book, and I was playing Eldritch Sky Striker, and I said, all right, you're going to hate this next part. My opponent audibly went, no! Thank you, person who has my exact brainworms. It is so hard for me not to construct a side deck of Gozen, Rivalry, Skill Drain, Anti-Spell, and then be like, I mean, they left them legal. Why did they leave this legal, by the way? Is it better that it's at 1 than 0? Just get rid of it. So the thing about ty-phon is that, unlike a significant amount of the cards in this thread, it is undeniably good. I know we like meme about, oh, ty-phon win rate. The ty-phon win rate is low because a lot of the games in which you're summoning him, you've already lost, but ty-phon is extremely important in a lot of extra decks. And its existence as an individual card changes how people build their combo boards. Like, you don't want to build a combo board that can just get eaten by this guy. There's a ton of decks like Labyrinth that shouldn't be playable at all, but are because this card exists. But sometimes I'm thumbing through a deck list and I'm like, am I playing SP? I really would like an SP right now. Nope, but I'm playing this dickhead. The things we do to make our decks go from 40 to 39. Isn't this card at 3 now? Every time I deck build, there's an evil voice in the back of my head that sounds exactly like Hoban, and it's like, why are you playing 40 cards? Did I spend too much time one-tricking Mech Knight? Yes, but if I learned anything, it's that sometimes people just don't have an out to this guy. I love ending on a board with IP and people will play to the board expecting me to make SP, but I pivot to Avermax instead. This is a pretty good one. I will say, this is a trick I fall for a number of times, and it's really bad now that Shangle is legal. Thinking to myself, I'm like, do they actually have an out to this card? And then making like some dog shit Towers monster instead of something that wins me the game. Just for it to turn out that like, yeah, eventually they do have an out for it. A weird one, but I genuinely play this in every single until I got Yummy. Having called by 2 and 3 when you include crossout makes it feel so worth it, and you can link it away for a 2-for-1 deal. Everyone did this forever. When Instant Fusion was a 3, Millenniumize was legal, right? And people were like, dude, it's kind of called by. What you learn really quickly about Millenniumize is that it is not called by. It's actually not called by at all. There's a lot of stuff it doesn't box out, and there's a lot of stuff it interacts very poorly against, and frequently you're just chilling. It also turns out that proactive called by is ass. Just ask the sales ban people. Crazy take, but the moment I saw the people were occasionally jamming a single copy of Vitos into their sideboards, I was hooked as if it's some magical wand against field spell decks that gives me 100% win rate. Definitely agree. This is a perfect example. One of those cards you put in your side deck and you're like, okay, like, does it beat the field spell decks this format? I mean, Yummy has a field spell. Vanquish Soul Canine has a field spell. No, but what if it did? What if I play against someone who's playing BEF Zalos? I mean, I'm going to want something to counter that. What, am I just going to not board any cards versus Tetran Turbo? It beats Ryziel Cross. Does it? The Yugi Boomer in me refuses to ever play a deck without at least one of these. These are classics. I mean, there's so many decks that... It's crazy that decks aren't playing Foolish Burial, right? This card's nuts! You have to play it. But it actually is quite bad. So SP Little Knight's a weird one because it is a good card and is definitely a card you should be considering in every single deck. But it is funny that, like, even in decks that just can't play it, you're like, what if the board state gets gummy and I just want this little bitch? I need this freak. Every Dragon Link brew, he's there. It used to be the, oh, he's a brick because Gamma is such an individually powerful card, into, well, I mean, I could send it with my Red Eyes engine, and now it's Delta. I like Delta. Man, this is an absolutely baller-ass answer. These cards are so fucking bad, and you're going to draw them in your opener so frequently, but in Dragon Link specifically, they do so much before they would be able to fire the Gamma, and they can send it off of Red Eyes. I mean, now there's Spell Negates. So this card featured in a lot of extra decks for a long time, for the same reason that Lingaribo featured in a lot of decks for a long time. Frequently, you need a card in your extra deck with a very specific typing and attribute, so that if your opponent does some stupid shit to you, you can out it. For this card, it was if your opponent sets up Secret Village of the Spellcasters. You just normal guy, go main phase 2, link it off, and then you do your combo. And for Lingaribo, it was if your opponent gave you an Ebe, you could link it off for Lingaribo and then just do your shit. Miserable little extra deck tax, but will always hold a place in my heart. Just imagine they don't play around the zones. This was posted by Gage. What we've learned from this today is that every person has their own special cards that they feel a sort of kinship with. Sometimes those cards are good, usually those cards are bad, but the important thing is the ones I play are justifiable and the ones you play are uncompetitive. What? This is like, yeah, sure. Yeah, you know what? Let's get, yeah, you can, yeah, okay, yeah.